Playing Destiny in 2024 is like working on a jigsaw puzzle without seeing the final image ahead of time. That being said, the final shape is just around the corner. And in a generous turn of events, Bungie has decided to remove the paywall to several expansions: the Witch Queen, Shadowkeep, and Beyond Light, meaning we have a ton of content thrown our way and a labyrinth-like course ahead of us. But fear not, you don't have to worry about collecting every last exotic engram or red bordered weapon before June 4th. Instead, I urge you to take in all the free content that Bungie has to offer and make sure to do so at your own pace. But if you find yourself with some extra time after you've completed the expansions, or you'd like to get a head start on the final shape, then I've got you. I'll break down what I think new lights and returning players alike should focus on as we head towards our final showdown with the Witness. As a bonus, I want to let you know that Bungie just dropped TWID yesterday. For those that don't know, TWID means This Week in Destiny. And there was a major item that I think most people missed, and I want to make sure you know about it, because it greatly affects free-to-play players. So you'll want to stick around to find out what it is. Real quick, before I get into what I'm doing to prepare, I'll briefly tell you how I got here, because I think a lot of people can relate. And I want you to know that even at my stage in this game, we have plenty of time to prepare for the launch of the latest expansion. Now, I'm not technically a free-to-play player, but damn, I'm fairly close. Let me start from the beginning. I played this game back at the time of release in 2017. I fell in love with the core gameplay, the shooting, the looting, platforming, and even PvP. I was hooked from the start, and that zeal carried me all the way through the first season of Forsaken. Now, I knew we were about to enter a new, dark, and more serious tone of Destiny's narrative, and I'm all for grimdark stories with real consequences. And yet, I wasn't happy with the direction they decided to go. After Cade died, the game lost a lot of enjoyment and personality. I mean, just check out this clip and appreciate what we used to have.
So, everything is gone. Your stuff, my stuff, most importantly, my stuff.
Today we know our enemy. His name is
Gary! Or Gil. Glenn? Is it? I don't know. It's something with a G!
Gone. I know you look to me in times of peril, but this is not my battle alone.
Which means if I don't see you out there, I'll kill you myself.
It is time to avenge this injustice, for that is the duty of all Guardians.
Worst case scenario, you die. But who knows? Maybe you won't.
So I ask you, who will stand with me?
Yeah! Really, guys?
That was inspiring.
Also, there will be a ton of loot!
That's when I decided to step away from the game and moved on. At the end of 2022, I decided to check back in on Destiny because I heard they had switched to a somewhat free-to-play model. And at the same time, there happened to be a 50% off sale on the newest expansion, which was the Witch Queen, which I had heard somehow had a connection to Oryx, who's my favorite villain from Destiny 1. But even then, I fired up the game and had no idea what was going on campaign-wise, obviously, and was instantly bombarded by quests and cutscenes. Honestly, it was content overload, so I just shut it back off. I didn't even play an hour of the game. I don't even think I made it to the Witch Queen's first story mission, jumped to earlier this year, 2024, which is 6 years since I played the first season of Forsaken. A close personal friend of mine decided to jump into the game for the first time ever. He started streaming it every day, documenting his experience and thoughts as he waded through all of the content. So I decided to reinstall and play some of the PvE modes with him. At first I thought it would be something that we would just play occasionally. That is until Onslaught was released, and instantly everything changed. This was a mode I could somewhat understand, but more importantly, I could enjoy and fully invest myself in. All the rewards I received from that mode were turned in for weapons, items, and XP at the Hall of Champions. That meant I couldn't make a mistake, because the Hall of Champions was accessible through the same overworld menu as Onslaught itself. Every time I completed completed a run,
okay,
all I had to do was open chests at the Hall of Champions in order to exchange my Brave trophies for loot. Easy. So I started playing every day, but I never played any of the campaign missions or went to any other destinations. I would alternate between Onslaught and Gambit. There were honestly so many options that I went to analysis paralysis, with no idea where to begin, and an even bigger fear of doing something wrong, completing things out of order, or wasting materials like exotic engrams and legendary shards. Things like ciphers, alloys, red pattern weapons meant absolutely nothing to me. But after some guidance from a friend and Bungie's avalanche of new content no longer paywalled, I knew this was the time to just dive in and start chipping away at this behemoth of a looter shooter. So let me just get one thing out of the way immediately. I'm not a min-maxer. I don't have multiple characters. This is just an outline for how I can digest what needs to be completed before the final shape arrives. And I know this will be useful to any new players or returning players like me. First off, we want to earn as much XP as we can through the bounties. I keep it straightforward and solely focus on the bounties that you can get at the tower from Zavala, Banshee 44, and Shaxx. They're all right by each other, so collecting these bounties is quick and easy. Now we want to collect these bounties, complete them, and turn them in because we're trying to rank ourselves up through the season pass. And not only are we receiving rewards from the upper row, Bungie has opened up the bottom or premium row so that everyone can receive these amazing materials and rewards. So now that I've done that and reached rank 100, I can think about holding on to my completed bounties and waiting to turn them in until the final shape is released.
That's what she said.
And the reason for doing that is because just like this season, we want to rank up the next season as quick and as easy as possible. And as our seasonal rank increases, the artifact rank will increase and our light level. With us being able to do all of this on day one, it means it will give us a head start versus most Guardians, and we'll be earning a multitude of rewards in the process. The biggest chunks of XP will come from weekly vendor bounties. These contain the XP++ reward. Just make sure that you read the bounties carefully, because some of them can only be completed within that same week where you picked them up. So you'll want to complete the bounty before the weekly reset, otherwise you'll be out of luck. Next, I'm stocking up on materials and glimmer. Now, which materials, you might be asking? Well, specifically, I'm hoarding exotic engrams, exotic ciphers, and ascendant shards. Fortunately for us, the season pass is a passive way to earn all of these rewards as we play the game. So as we're ranking up our season pass, so the bounties I talked about before, we're also collecting the prime currency for the final shape. Thank goodness Bungie unlocked the premium version of the season pass, right? Not only that, but those same bounties increase our reputation with each respective vendor. And those vendor rank ups are a surefire way to receive exotic engrams. Man, we're tripping. Man, we're triple dipping with those bounties. Let's go. So the main reason for stocking up on those materials is because of the drastically different way we'll be interacting with Raul in the new expansion. He'll have a reputation track just like most of the vendors have now. And the way to increase our reputation with him will be through decoding exotic engrams. We'll be able to unlock precision decryption and advanced decryption by spending exotic engrams and ascendant shards. And after we upgrade the reputation track to a certain tier, we'll be able to purchase any exotic piece of armor in the game. And all it will cost is one exotic engram and one exotic cipher. That's amazing. Besides the prismatic subclass that they have announced, I think the upgrade to Raul's decoding are the second biggest change I'm looking forward to in the final shape. Speaking of Raul, I recommend purchasing 3 Ascendant Shards through his special orders section. This is the quickest and easiest way to pick up Ascendant Shards on a weekly basis. Now, after all that material hoarding, you're probably wondering, well, what material can I spend? And that's where legendary shards come in. The currency will no longer exist after June 4th. That means we gotta spend all of it. Personally, I'm going to spend them on buying anything I can from Xur, even if I don't have an immediate use for it. Then I'm gonna purchase as many raid banners as I can from Hawthorne. And lastly, I'm gonna convert as many of my legendary shards into glimmer as I can. Now I know there are a lot more ways to spend these legendary shards that you can find out by watching streamers or dedicated content creators. And I encourage you to do so if you're looking for a more in-depth recommendation. But for me, I'm content with these 3 simple methods for spending the shards. Lastly, I'm going to go out and play those 3 expansions that were previously blocked by the paywall, those being the Witch Queen, Shadow Keep, and Beyond Light. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that Bungie dropped a bomb on us free-to-play-ish players with their latest TWID. In Bungie's own words, when the final shape launches on June 4th, the campaigns for Shadow Keep and Beyond Light, along with the Stasis subclass, will remain available to all players at no additional cost. Man, lately Bungie has been dropping more W's than Kobe Bryant dropping points against the Raptors in 2006, and I'm all for it. One thing I failed to mention earlier, but I think it bears keeping in mind, XP and materials are things that you'll collect passively as you play your favorite modes in the game. If nothing else, I think the biggest takeaway from this video should be that you can play Destiny 2 the way you see fit. Play the things that are fun and exciting and consistently draw you back in. The more you play the content that speaks to you, the more rewards you're gonna get. Because it doesn't matter if you're trying to optimize your bounty prep, glimmer stockpiles, and postmaster inventory, if it's not fun and you just end up shutting the game down in 1 or 2 days. You're 1000% better off. And yes, I did the math on that. Playing the missions, the modes, and exploring whatever areas you like. You'll have a much better time and earn some loot in the process. Now that Bungie pulled me back in, I'll be dropping more Destiny 2 content on a regular basis. However, as I detailed earlier, I did have a 6-year gap where I didn't touch Destiny 2. There were a ton of other games that I was playing and grinded to a high level at that time. So if you're interested in seeing other games that I stream, review, and make content for, such as League of Legends or Valorant, then please click on one of these 2 videos here on the side. Thank you again for sticking around until the end of the video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.
In fact, you want me to take you back, I want you to take me back. You want me to take you back, I want you to take me back. So tell me, is you gonna ride?